Hi, Jonas. How are you?
Hey, Money, I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Congratulations on the show.
Thank you very much.
I've only seen the first two episodes, so I'm very intrigued to
Me
see
too.
more.
Yeah, me
Oh,
too.
okay.
Yeah,
Good. We're on the same
we're on the
level
same
then.
page. Yeah, absolutely. I've only
Were you
seen
a fan?
one with score though. I haven't seen the second one with
Oh,
score. Yesterday was the first time I saw the first episode with score. That's kind of puts it on a different level actually. Yeah. Oh,
absolutely. Hans Zimmer.
I had to talk to Hans Zimmer yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, I had such a huge fan moment yesterday talking to him. He was switching immediately into German, and um, and he was like, "I'm so afraid of you right now." I was like, "What?" It's feeling exactly the same standing before Hans Zimmer. I'm like, I'm a little afraid of. No, you are so scary. But it was wonderful, and quartet was playing the music before I seen the episode. Behind us, there was a quartet sitting. Behind us, playing the main themes of the series I haven't seen so far. That was crazy. Yeah.
That's amazing. He must be one of the busiest men in Hollywood.
Probably right. He had the time to do a legendary masterclass that we all watched. Yeah.
Excellent. Were you a fan of the book before you got the role?
Yeah, I read it before, and I was a fan. I read it within 2 days, I guess. It was like just I was inhaling it. And after quite some time, I was shooting a different series in Berlin at the time. I got the casting invite on a shooting day, and they wanted to self-tape like in a short amount of time already. So because I knew the novel, I was like, I want to give it a try, and I did my first self-tape for this series in a lunch break with the DOP of the making of team and a colleague of mine with whom I was shooting, and also with the assistance of the costume department. She was doing one scene with me. So yeah, I knew the book and so wanted to be part of this project, and I'm so happy that I did get the part.
What do you think fans of the book will think of the adaptation?
Well, I can tell you that I learned a lot of what Lale Sokolov told Heather Morris, and that didn't find its way into the novel, which is which gives a lot of new perspectives to me, especially because I was playing a character that is a minor character in the book, in the novel, but is there's more focus on him in the series because Tali Shalom Ezer, the director, tried to really focus on the dynamic between the three characters like Lale Sokolov and Gita Sokolov, who got to know each other in the camp and fell in love, and also Stefan Baretsky, who I played, who was an SS soldier being in charge of Lale Sokolov at that time, and was one of the reasons why Lale Sokolov survived the camp, and also was like a monstrous sadist um, perpetrator. And I needed to learn a lot about him that I couldn't get from the novel. Of course, there are some sources about Stefan Boretsky that I did read, and also you have recordings of him defending himself in front of the Frankfurt trial. They are open source. You can listen to them on YouTube, for example, and I did, of course, and they're deeply disturbing in the way he tries to defend himself, just as being executive. Um, but also I learned a lot of new perspectives through sitting down with Heather Morris, and she was telling me all the things that she didn't write down in the book, but that Lale told her. And one of the things was that Lale once said to her in a way that through the long time that they spent each with each other side by side, uh, Stefan Baretsky became like a brother to Lale. That's what he said, which is which is nearly it's incomprehensible in a way if you know what Stefan Baretsky did to all the other prisoners. So I was really kind of scared to play that part because I didn't know how. I just didn't know how, and I remember sitting before Heather Morris and two of her sons. She has a daughter as well, which I got to know yesterday, but she was there in Bratislava with two of her sons, and they were there when she interviewed Lale Sokolov a lot, so they knew him very, very well. And the trio was sitting before me, and I was like totally desperate before the shooting. I was like, yeah, I really don't know how to play him. And she was like, darling, we'll sit down, I'll tell you everything. And she put together a picture of a man who's deeply volatile and of course very sadistic and brutal, and but also about a human being in this inhuman surrounding on the desperate search for anything human inside of him and for a human connection, for any kind of relationship, maybe friendship to anybody, in this case, Lale Sokolov, which he kind of looked up to. And so this picture was being put together through these different sources that seemed uh, incombinable to me, but I really, really tried. What did you ask? Yeah.
No, that was great. That was, you
Was that
answered
an
lots of
answer?
questions. You are very different from your character, I'll tell you that. Do you think it's more interesting to kind of play a character like that, or versus like the nice like guy character?
Sorry, again? You have to
Do you
ask
think,
again.
you know, do you think that it's more interesting to play a character like this versus the good guy?
I don't know. I can tell you that it's quite challenging, both to play such a character that is so far away from oneself that you can't even like get in touch with, and you don't want to. You are so hesitant to get in touch with such a character, and also is quite a heavy weight to know that it was a real existing person that you have to embody through voices of others telling you second-handed information, and then this first-hand information that you get through listening to him defending what he did, what is, well, there's just no excuse for. And you listen to him and he tries to make it legitimate. It's crazy. And I can really tell you that I had a lot of um, struggle beforehand to um, to I still feel I can't play him in a way. I still feel that if I had to shoot a scene today, I couldn't do it. And this was like the feeling throughout the whole shooting. I was like, I'm not able. I'm not, and I was so dependent on the help of my colleagues. And luckily, I was so warmly embraced by Jonah when we first met. I remember that I was taking an overnight train from Hamburg to Vienna because this was like the closest city to Bratislava for me to take my train. And I remember that I couldn't sleep the whole night in this train because I was so nervous going into this production office, and I knew that there were um, a lot of crew members involved in the production already before in the pre-production already that had Jewish background, and I knew I was going inside there, and I was so scared that they would just see me as the embodiment of the evil and not as who I am in the moment because I'm me. And I came into this office and then I suddenly stood before Jonah King, whom I haven't met before, and he was smiling so warmly at me. And he's taller than me, he looked down at me, was standing before me, smiling at me, and I felt like I was melting, and he was like, I'm so glad that we do this together. We're gonna carry each other through it. I was like, fuck, I don't know really. And he was like, yeah, that's gonna be good. We're gonna do this. And the same happened just moments afterwards with Tali Shalom Eza, the director, who stood before me and like without saying a word, just hugged me, took me in her arms. And an Israeli Jewish woman took me in her arms and was like, I'm so glad you're doing this. We're doing this together. We're going to carry each other throughout the process, each and every day, each and every scene. And that's actually what we did. And that was that was the only way for me to do this. It was such a healing moment actually when we first met, and this we really tried to do. We really tried to hug each other in a way throughout the shooting of the series.
I can't imagine it must have taken such a toll on you. At the end of the day, were you able to shake the character off, or what did you do?
To be full disclosure, it took me some time to reset from the whole shooting, months actually, to I don't know, to get in a light mood again. I I think because I think each and every one of us shooting the series felt a very heavy burden. Like I don't know, like clouds coming down on one, just like covering everything into this milky darkness on his soul. That's just what you feel throughout the whole time when you. I mean, I if I think of the series, I still feel how I took on this uniform each and every day, going into this camp they build up outside of Bratislava, seeing hundreds of extras shivering in the cold, just wearing um these prisoner gowns, and me standing there and just feeling this incredible burden of embodying Stefan Boretsky. So that yeah, I can't say it differently. It really took me some time to get this off me. And also after each and every single day, I needed to get some techniques out of my toolbox to kind of reset after a shooting day. And one of the techniques that always works for me is that I'm a film music composer at the side. It's like my second job. I'm doing it with a good friend of mine. He's called David Grabowski. And during this period, exactly, we had to do a score for a Christmas movie. So I took into the small apartment I had in Bratislava with the overnight train from Hamburg to Vienna. I took my MIDI keyboard and my laptop and my microphone and my guitar and everything, put it in the apartment, and after each and every long shooting day of pure horror, I was getting the chimes out and doing a Christmas score. And sometimes in the morning when we came into the makeup truck, Jonah was there. I was like, could you put on that Christmas music you did yesterday? I was like, yeah, let's listen to another cue. And then we had like the Christmas mu music in the morning while getting, while being put into that roles visually. That was one of the things, and also I needed to get to be. I was running after every day. I was running along the riverside, jogging, because I physically needed to get the stress out of the body. That as well. But yeah, to be totally honest, that took me some time. Now, I think all of
Understandable.
us.
And it makes sense now why meeting Hans Zimmer was such a big deal to you. Thank you very much for your
Right?
time. Yeah. Congratulations again. You did a great job, even though it was very difficult. So well done.
Thank you very much.